Hi everyone, and welcome to this short introductory video into our R workshop. Within this video, I will show you how to install R and RStudio, which is an interface that we will be using throughout the workshop. And I will also show you a few tips and tricks for efficient coding. I will use the chance to quickly introduce myself. So my name is Maya. I have done my PhD in aquatic chemical ecology. I've done my bachelor and master studies in Munich in Germany, and then my PhD in Cologne in Germany. I joined Queen's University Belfast last year in March and have first worked in fisheries management and have then changed to the Grassland Resilience Project, where I'm working as a data analyst. I've been very much enjoying most of the data visualization in R and have been putting a lot of work into this. These are some of the figures that I've been producing just recently. I'll be happy to share some of the tips how you can improve your data visualization yourself, and this will also be at least a part of our workshop. Recently, I've started recording R videos within a video series that is now available on YouTube. I will be sharing a list with all the necessary links so that whenever you have some time and you're interested in these videos, then you're very welcome to check them out. And if you have any questions, you can always just drop me an email. Some of the topics that are currently covered are data types and structures, how to write your first script, data manipulation with tidyverse, R Markdown, GitHub, and projects, and functions and loops. And there are still some videos on data visualization and spatial data analysis that are currently in processing and will hopefully be uploaded sometime next year. I will cover most of these topics in the workshop already, but if you after the workshop need something to watch or rewatch, then you're very welcome to check out these videos. The way you can install R is by going to the official R web pages, which are the CRAN web pages, so the Comprehensive R Archive Network. And here you will find files for R, which can be downloaded for Linux, for Mac, and for Windows. And you basically just download them and then follow the instructions. If you are a Windows user, you might also have to install the R tools, and you can do that by just following this link here, then downloading the installer, and then just following the instructions. You might need the R tools to be able to afterwards download some of the other external packages that can be used within R and RStudio. Speaking of RStudio, if you need to download RStudio, you can go to the link that I'm sharing here above, and then you can just scroll down and go to this free RStudio desktop version, and you can install the right installer, so depending on your operating system of your computer, and just follow the instructions. There is also a new version of RStudio, the version 1.4, that you can also download by following the link above. For the workshop, it is not necessary to install this newest version, but there are just a few bits and pieces that have been added to this version. So if you're already installing RStudio, you might just go for this newest version then. So quickly about the RStudio. If you once open it, this is approximately the interface that you will see, and you will see that it's all white. But of course, you can change this entire interface by just going to the tools and then to the global options. And there are many of the different options that you can choose from. You can change the font, you can change the theme, you can change the font size, and so on and so on. And this is, for example, how it can look like. And here we see that we have 4 different elements within the RStudio that you can also rearrange the way it works the best for you. So we have first here in the left upper corner, the element that is for your scripts or your markdown files. And it is also the viewer for the objects, such as the data frames. And here is also where you can put your code and then run the code by sending it to the console. And if you're a Windows user, you can do this by just using the Control and Enter. And if you're a Mac user, you can do this by using the Command and Enter. In the lower left corner, we have the console. So this is where your code is executed. So here you find the code output, and there is the shortcut that lets you select the console, which is just Control+2. You can run the code either directly in the console, or you can run the code from your script. The advantage of running the code from the script is that you're writing the script and you can afterwards save it and reuse it, while everything that is written in the console is only saved into the history, but not in an actual file. Speaking of history, if you look into the upper right corner, this is the panel that has the environment and the history here. I will not talk about the connections and the tutorials. So the environment basically has the list of all the objects that have been created during a session, also all functions that you might have written yourself or loaded from another source file. And it also has the history where you can find all your previously run code. And then in the bottom right corner, you can find the panel that has these 5 categories. So we have the files. This is the list of all files and folders. Then plots, that's the viewer for the plots that you're creating. And packages, this has the list of all installed packages. And if there is a tick in these boxes that are on the left of the name of each package, then it means that this package is currently loaded and that you can use it. And if there is no tick, it only means that the package is installed but not yet loaded. I will show this in a second how this works. Then there is the help section where you can find the help pages for functions. And there is the viewer, which is mostly used to view your R Markdown files. There are also some tips and tricks that I'd like to share with you. I will not discuss all of them, but I'm just going to show you that there are a few shortcuts that are very useful. I would say that the most useful ones are the first 2 ones. So the first is to make an assignment operator. It is this arrow here, and it has this smaller than sign and then a minus. On a German keyboard, this works very fast because these keys are basically just next to each other. But if you're using an English keyboard, then as a Windows user, you can just use Alt and minus, and it will make this assignment operator here. And if you're a Mac user, you can use Option and the minus. In the course of the workshop, we will be using the second operator here, which is the pipe operator. If you are a Windows user, you can make this pipe operator by using Control, Shift, and M. And if you're a Mac user, you can make this pipe operator by using Command, Shift, and M. You can find all these other shortcuts in my slides that I will be also providing. One last thing to mention are the cheat sheets. These can be either downloaded by following the link here, or they can be directly accessed within the RStudio. These are very helpful because they have a summary of the most important functions from the packages that are currently part of the tidyverse, which we will be discussing throughout the workshop. So if you ever need some help on these packages, just check the cheat sheets and see if these are maybe helpful and useful for yourself. Now we can switch to the RStudio. So once you first open RStudio, it will probably look something like this. As I said, I personally do not like this white background, so I like to change this into a more darker background. The way you can do this is by just going to Tools and then to Global Options. And here you can go to the Appearance and you just choose some of these themes. You can also change the font family and you can change the font size. And I will here go to the Cobalt theme. That's currently my favorite one. Then just click on Apply and then on OK, and then you're done. Okay, so I've already explained these panels here. We currently only see the console panel here, but if you're starting a new script, then you can just go here, okay, and just click on R script. And this will give you this R script here. And I will quickly demonstrate how this works. So for example, you can use R as a calculator. So we're just going to add 2 numbers. And once you wrote this in your script, you basically just have to set your cursor somewhere in the line. And then you can either use run here. Okay, so you just click on run. And this sends it already here down into the console. What you can also do is to place your cursor again in the line. And then instead of clicking on run, you can just, as I said, use Control and Enter if you're a Windows user, and this will also send the code to the console. A few more things that I'd like to show. As already mentioned, you can access the cheat sheets by just going to Help and then Cheat Sheets. And then you here already have a list of a few cheat sheets, but you can also just click here and this will lead you to the external web pages where you can download all other cheat sheets that you might find helpful for yourself. Also, as I mentioned before, there are a lot of other shortcuts within RStudio. So if we just go to Help and click on Keyboard Shortcuts Help, then this will open a huge window with all of these keyboard shortcuts. And you can close this window by just clicking on Escape. Another thing are the packages that I mentioned before. So there's a list of packages that is available whenever you install R for the first time. but there are also other packages that you might want to add. One of the packages that we will be using is the ggplot2 package, which is used for plotting. And the way you install the packages is either manually or by using a code. If you want to do that manually, you can go to install and then just write here the name of the package. So you want to have the package ggplot2, and then you just click on install. Everything else should already be set. So mostly you will have the cron repository here, and this will tell you that the package is going to be installed into your library. And then you just click on install. And then you will see mostly in your console that something is happening. Don't get confused by any warning messages. These are totally normal, so you should not worry about them. If you now want to load the package, so we want to put a tick on the package. So what you can do is either to scroll through the list and then click on the package to load the package, or if you want to do it within your script, you can just type library and then parentheses, and then just add the name of the package. And then you can run this. So again, for Windows users is Control and Enter, and for Mac users is Command and Enter. And then you will see here, it will again give you some warning messages probably, which is again all fine, but now this package is loaded. Last thing that I would like to show today is how to create a project, which I would ask all of you to do before the workshop. So what we're going to do is that we're just going to create a folder that we will use to store all of our scripts and data and figures and other documents into during the workshop. The way you can do that is that you go here to this bluish cube with an R in it that says create a project. You click on it, and I will ask you here if you want to save workspace, if you already done something. In this case, it's totally fine to just say don't save. Good. And then you either can choose a new directory or you can choose an existing directory. So if you already have a folder that is called R Workshop or something, then you can just go with this option. And if not, for example, I haven't created a folder yet, then you just go with the first option here. Okay, so we click here and then we click on new project. And then we can here type the name of the project. So it should be the R Workshop. And I want this project here to be on my desktop. So you can just quickly choose your desktop here, for example, and then create the project. And this will take a second. And if you now look into your upper right corner of your RStudio, there should be a small project symbol again. So again, this blue cube with an R in it. And next to it should be the title R Workshop. So this means that now we are in the R Workshop project. The advantage of working in projects is that once you open the project, you're automatically going to be in your correct working directory that has all your other folders and data. So I would definitely recommend everyone to prepare this and have this project already ready, because you're going to be using this as your working directory throughout the workshop. And that was it. I hope that this was easy enough. For any other questions, you can always drop me an email. Thanks for listening.